welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence. And it is Virginia Tech. This isn't some rinky-dink-ass program.
Come on, JC.
We're going to put this old guy in the grade. We'll go over some of the stats really fast.
It's the percent.
11.
It's an 11 game.
Welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence, a Sons of Saturday podcast brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B. I've got my co-host, Sam Jesse, here. And Virginia Tech beat Cal 42-34 in double overtime, baby. Sam and I were lucky enough to be there to see it in person. We were stealing some seats down at ground level, at field level, first row, up in section 5, which is now a section I don't know the number of, but that's where we were with all the boys. And man, oh man, did we have a good time this past weekend.
I mean, what an absolute blast. And it was a treat for all of the people who stayed in Lane Stadium and braved the cold, although I didn't think it was that cold. Shout out to the students who stayed
in the
around.
stadium, I felt like.
Yeah, after like 7-8 beers and jumping up and down a bunch, yeah, it was pretty warm.
15, yeah.
Credit to those coaches, credit to those players. They deserved it. They've been through so much this season, and to have such a euphoric and intense win, just an amazing feeling.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to get into some James Franklin rumors. They're swirling. We're going to get to the voicemails. We're going to do some stats and some final takeaways from Cal. And of course, we're going to be previewing Louisville, which is our upcoming game. So make sure to like and subscribe, and also subscribe to us, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Even if you don't listen to us there, give us a subscribe, set us up for automatic downloads, like all that good stuff. It all helps. Rate, review. Sam, give us a cheers so we can get into it.
Victory cheers. We won a game, first overtime win in Lane Stadium since the infamous 6 overtime victory over UNC. Cheers.
Cheers. Man. I was on my honeymoon, so it's like the entire length of my marriage is when
we're going to have some callbacks to that game against UNC. Don't worry about it.
So news and notes, you can see if you're watching on YouTube, we have our new artwork up on the screen. It is the Tech Till We Die artwork. The shirts are now available. Let me hide this so I can show you guys, because this is pretty cool. This is what the hoodie with the strings looks like. This is a bigger version here. You got a little pocket on the front. This is the tee. All from the swvashop.com is where you can find these. And this is the artwork itself, which, like I was saying last week, worked on with an artist. I had a vision, and it involved beer and a skeleton. And it turned out very much more metal than I expected. It is pretty cool. So I know Sam's happy with it. I'm happy with it. Yeah, make sure to go grab those shirts, man, because this is not only a Halloween thing, although we are a couple days away from Halloween. That's kind of what inspired it. You can carry Tech Till We Die all year long. And so you'll enjoy our overlay as we get through the pod today. The Pick'em leaders, our very own Zach Osmond, still in first. However, there's a new person in second, Sam, and it's me. I had a 9-1 week. That was after my 8-2 week. So it's 17-3 the past 2 weekends. And Zach, I'm coming for you, buddy. I didn't know if that was going to actually happen, but now I'm right there with some of our other guys. Close. I mean, it's bunched up now. Zach has come down to earth just a little bit. CFB Monday is already in your feed. We gave our more emotional reaction and how we were feeling and all that good stuff on Monday. That is cut up on YouTube for you. You can find it on the pod feed in CFB Monday. We addressed it pretty early, about 20 minutes into the episode is when we got to it. And we're going to talk plenty about it still, but we went into some details about how it felt, why it was such a good feeling, why it was so special on Monday. So check that out. It's time to jump into this James Franklin stuff, Sam.
Oh, well, we kicking off with that?
We're going to kick off.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, because it was on the TL all last night, all day today. And I know me and you both had busy work days, but we were definitely seeing it and checking in on it. And let's go back to Monday, because if you remember on Monday when we were live, someone was like, did you see that tweet that just came out? And then there was the video from Colby. He did Colby's Corner talking about James Franklin was back as a possibility. And then ever since Monday night, it's kind of been slowly ramping up. There was a Nakos article. There was a Mike Farrell article at one point. You've been seeing all this. Like,
I mean, it definitely has the most smoke. And I kind of want to say where there's smoke, there's fire. It's not entirely true, though. And I really do think it can be twofold. Whereas on one side, yes, there probably is a lot of smoke around these rumors. While two, this is kind of classic positioning by James Franklin's party of, hey, I'm really interested in this job. If you want me, you're going to have to pry me away from this job. If you really want me, you have to pay me a little more. And so I will pump the brakes on that. I think it would be really early to make this hiring. I think you're at least
for
like
him.
Yeah, for Virginia Tech too, I think.
Interesting.
Like you've how much work have you been able to do on James Franklin between now and the time that he was fired? It couldn't have been much because nobody thought he was going to get fired when he got fired. So you had to start from, like, I guess you didn't have to start from zero. Actually, you had so many people in the building who worked for him.
That's part of it.
That
I
could
also
be
think
part
if
of
you're
it,
doing this 24/7, I mean,
I don't-
we've done our own fair amount of research on this stuff. Not that we're talking to the agents and getting in a room with him, but
Yeah.
it seems as if the sides have been in negotiations. That's kind of what the information has led to. Now, the tweets that are firing off from accounts that have almost no followers are getting a little like they're rampant.
It's also a lot of like aggregation stuff
Yes,
like
a
that,
lot
just
of
trying to get
aggregation.
clicks. That's a vast majority of it. But I would also say, kind of from the beginning, it was Virginia Tech would be a good landing spot for him. Like, well-respected college football minds kind of agreed, yeah, that would be a spot that really works for him. Outside of the fact that we just fired his best friend. But other than that, like, it does make a lot of sense that with traditional coaching hires, like, you can connect the dots, you can connect the fit. Does it come to fruition? I don't know. I think Tech is going to have to pay him a lot of money.
It would be for him to come to Tech. You're thinking like that's the maximum amount of money we would spend would be the amount that James Franklin gets.
If Shane Beamer was having a better year, I think they would maybe drop a bigger bag on Shane. But at this point, I think it is very clearly James Franklin is the highest. He's the Louis bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me put up this tweet from Mike McDaniel. Regarding
Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel, our friend who I work with on the Hokie Hoops pod, does the Hokie Hangover, works for SI. Most people know Mike if they follow this podcast. Regarding Franklin rumor to VT, it's never close with a Sexton client until it's done. This is a classic leak and leverage against other offers. And I felt like Mike worded that well. And so that's why I wanted to use his example with that, because some other people have been talking about that. We've discussed it a little bit in the chat. Like, are we being played by Jimmy Sexton, who makes a habit of using people to get leverage for his clients?
Mm-hmm.
And that could be this. Now, I would think if it's not a leverage play, we will know in relatively short order. Like, if it's actually for real, because there's been so much talk. I've gotten so many texts about this. I don't know if this is happening to you, where you're getting your like more casual friends who are texting and calling random family members who like have no interest in college football or texting you about it.
From 6 years ago, James Franklin ?
Yeah, I mean it's funny, and you know, I think it's happening. Oh, it looks like it could happen today. You know, like there's been a lot of that going around the chat, and I do think some of this is like, one person gets a rumor from one end, then they get the same rumor from the other end. They're like, oh my gosh, there's so much smoke, but it's actually the same smoke.
Yeah. No, that is true. Do we want to lean in? Like, do we want to lean into the smoke right now? Are we huffing and puffing the smoke, or are we going to?
I think a lot of people are huffing.
Like,
if we want to Charlie Day,
if we want to do the huff and
with
puff,
the bag over the face.
Virginia Tech has a bye week coming up. November 8th is a bye for Virginia Tech. So in between the Louisville game that we'll talk about later and the game at Florida State. Virginia Tech will probably want to make a move sometime in the month of November. I kind of thought towards the end of November, but if the cards play right, I feel like this is something that they would try to announce in that bye week. That is very, it is very serendipitous to have a bye week that week.
Yes, no, it absolutely is. And just from Virginia Tech's advantage standpoint, naming our head coach before all these other schools do is an advantage. Like that would be a good play. And that's one of the reasons why going after a guy who's unemployed, that's a plus on that side of things. But it's just really hard to know because with so many jobs open, Franklin's really going to take like the first one that came open. Like we could still get FSU. We could still get Auburn. We could like that's this is not coming from me not having James at the top of my list. I'm just trying to like go through this, and I've been taking so much crap, Sam. You know it. Like I've been taking so much crap.
It's fair. Like for him, does it seem like a wise decision to jump at the first one? I don't know. But then again, does James Franklin really fit at Auburn? Does he fit at LSU? Does he fit at Florida State potentially? Like, I don't think so.
See, Florida State kind of feels like a fit to me.
It could, but Florida State has also come out and said that they want to stick with Norvell.
Yeah, they're waiting to find the money. They're on their plane to Saudi Arabia.
I agree with you on that one, but like, if Virginia Tech is the one that makes the most sense for him and they're the one offering, I do kind of get that he would just say, yeah, let's take it and let's hit the ground running. But I also understand your point of, man, if Florida is sitting there open and LSU is now open and who the heck knows what's going to happen across the country and who's going to move where. I mean, I feel like we've had a surprise coach move at the end, like not firing, but a coach just getting up and leaving has happened the last few years. I mean, nobody expected, Chip Kelly just got up and left UCLA. Now there was a little bit of drama there with UCLA, but he just got up and left. Like Jeff Hafley just got up and left BC on his own accord. Do we have a coach who does that and says, hey, this isn't for me? And that be an attractive place for James Franklin? I don't know.
There's going to be so much more movement in the next 4 weeks. And so that's why if I'm him, unless he's like head over heels for Virginia Tech, I don't know why you'd commit now.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at, especially with like the layering of the Brent Pry thing. Right? And maybe maybe that swings him the other way. Like Pry liked it there. Maybe I'd like it there. Like, I don't know, but it just seems like my hunch is that it's more of an agent play. The beauty of it is, Sam, the longer this goes, the less likely it becomes. So if we were going to hear something good in terms of getting James Franklin, which I know a lot of people think is like a very good thing, and he is, in the world of how many candidates are out there, he's high up on my list. He's fourth on my list, and he's right there with Golish and Summerall. If we're going to hear something good, it's probably going to happen relatively soon.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, LSU is arguably, but probably the most arguably best job in the country. And that's open now. LSU doesn't have an athletic director, really. They have an athletic director who the governor of Louisiana said is for sure not making the next hire.
Yeah, the governor's getting involved down there. Which is
they don't have a university president, is what I meant to say. They don't have a sitting university president.
I gotcha. Yeah, I remember. I knew they didn't have one, and that is correct because the AD there is the same one that hired Jimbo, and everyone's been talking about how he gave all this money and buyouts to those two guys.
I don't think you're going to have LSU hire somebody pretty soon. I don't know if Florida does either, because I feel like Florida is the type of school who wants to poach from somebody else.
Oh, both of those schools seems like they want to poach,
and so I do think, in a way, those two are kind of off the board. And then the next one is Penn State, and he's obviously not getting Penn State.
Come on
So
back.
your fourth or fifth best job is Virginia Tech. And I see no reason for him to go out to the Plains and go to Oklahoma. So it does make sense for him as Virginia Tech being the best landing spot right now that is also interested in him. Like, I don't know if Florida's interested in James Franklin.
Yeah, I don't know either. I also said a couple episodes back, like UCLA seems like a fit for me for James Franklin, but I don't know if they want to pony up that kind of cash.
I don't think they care enough to pony up that kind of cash.
No. Yeah. So who knows, man? But the whole rumors thing, it felt like if at any minute we were going to get a Thamel bomb. Like that's what it felt like last night and this morning, based on just the fever pitch of how many people were talking about it and the amount of like contact was being made via my cell phone. But it didn't happen. And so let's see. It could happen by the end of this show. Like we're recording, we're not live. We're going to post it after we're done. Like it could happen then. It could happen tomorrow morning. But if we get through Monday and we haven't heard it, I would lean towards leverage play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you're going to get James Franklin, I think it's going to be before the Florida State game.
Well, that's a long way away.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah. I just felt like
2 weeks in the world of academia is
maybe
an
not.
hour for the rest of the
So you're
world.
saying that's your deadline.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's call it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think that there is some sense there. There's some sense to that. I think during so I kind of said, if you don't hear by the end of this upcoming Monday, maybe we stretch that out into midweek because the bye week is there.
Let's go November 14th at noon. If it's past November 14th, noon Eastern, it's not happening. But
we did this exact thing when we were looking for our defensive coordinator, right? Like, weren't you putting out dates?
Yeah. And this guy said no. And
we
blew
past a bunch of them. You know, what's funny is if it weren't to happen, it would go in that category of like Fuente to Baylor, or Bill O'Brien is going to be Virginia Tech's next head coach, or Neil Brown's going to be our next OC. Remember, like those are all rumors that like it felt like they were about to happen and then they didn't happen.
And they just didn't happen. Yeah. You know, we're not really a breaking news organization. That's not what we've done, but who knows, man? Like it could happen while we're recording. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when this is going to happen.
I'll handle the hosting duties. You keep an eye on your phone every about 10 minutes. Just take a peek. See if you
get the Twitter machine up.
Okay.
I mean, 9 o'clock on a Wednesday would be absolutely absurd.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Some would say. We will react if it does happen, you'll be getting a pod from us for sure. Mm-hmm. Depth chart injury update for Cal. We only had a couple guys out, which was nice to see before the game. Cunningham and Caleb Brown were the only ones of note. Otherwise, it was all the guys we're used to: Brody, Chans, Reddish, etc. In the game, we got up 10-0 quick. Then Cal ripped off 20 unanswered with the help of a ton of our mistakes. It was 20-10 at the half. We move over to the other side of the stadium with Robert. Mm-hmm. We sit with Billy and Pat and all those guys. And we start the third quarter pretty well. We get a field goal. Then we hit Heath for the tying touchdown, 44 yards. It's 20-20. We stop them again. Defense was playing well. We're driving to take the lead. Drones throws the pick. I think that was right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and that was in the end zone. We get the ball back, run right down the field. Drones scores, makes it 27-20. We have the TD by Cal directly after the roughing the passer call, which was complete BS. So now it's tied 27-27. We'll come back to that. We're pissed. The team could have said we're screwed, but they did not. We had a potential game-winning kick go off the upright. Then Cal misses their own field goal wide right. Overtime. They score in one play. Drones rumbles in for the response. Double overtime. Ball to Heath. Great adjustment catch, touchdown, 2-point conversion. We get Cal to go 4 and out, and we win the ball game. That is the quickest summary I could possibly do of a crazy, crazy game. But to give you a better idea of kind of what went down, let me play the voicemails.
We had a 2 Deep and Sons of Saturday showing on the TV during Enter Sandman, willing our team to victory in double overtime. And by golly, I think it worked.
It's halftime, and the woke agenda has taken us over. We are getting pegged by Kamala Harris. That's what's happening right now.
But when it came down to it, Tech pulled it off. They got the overtime win. I'm amazed they even scored 42 points. They played very well for 3 out of those 4 quarters.
My God, what a win.
What a game that had everything in it.
Let's freaking go. We got it, dub.
That officiating crew was downright corrupt, much like the woke agenda. But however, the woke agenda is dead.
I have a beef with the refs, though. I don't know what was going on with the roughing the passer penalties. I think the second one was a makeup call.
Weird officiating. That was had bad calls on both sides. I felt like we almost blew it multiple times, including a doink.
It's so nice to get a win in Lane Stadium in a 1-score game in overtime. Let's freaking go.
One of the main reasons we won because we ran the damn ball.
I don't think this team is as bad as the worst of the ACC after this win now. Could they win another game? Maybe they can beat Florida State, possibly, but...
Hey, guys. It's Robert Irby again. Just driving home day after the game. What a freaking win, man. This was awesome. We needed this. I made the analogy to some friends last night that we were a bunch of homeless people that just got fed T-bone steaks. And shout out to Monty and the energy that he gives this team. This is way more level-headed than my other 2 calls, but I'd like to formally apologize to Kamala Harris. Sorry. The algorithm is dead. To the Cal backup quarterback that looked me dead in the eyes and said, fuck you, after the terrible roughing in the passer call. Fuck you too, bud. Enjoy being the 3rd string at Cal, loser.
Thank you for the calls, and thank you for the 3 calls. Robert Irby, our most animated caller this past weekend. Mike Holmes was too distracted to call the reaction line this weekend. He was having too much fun with his brother, frat brothers, with us, and we got to see his beautiful wife, AC. That was so much fun. But yeah, great calls. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Robert, and Devin for that first one that spotted us on the television.
Hey.
Well, he spotted Sam. I don't think I was in the thing. It was Sam, Billy, maybe Robert, some other.
At the end of the game, we got a good shout out. I mean, there weren't many fans to choose from to put on TV at that point, so I won't hype this up too much, but it was. I give so much credit to all the people who stayed. I give so much credit to them because a lot of people did leave. Like, that stadium emptied out at halftime, and we can't really blame them. It looked like this team had quit. I mean, they given up 20 straight points. They looked completely off on defense. They weren't lining up correctly. It looked dead. And then they made the adjustments at halftime, fired off 10 points in a row. And here we are. I mean, 10 points in a row, I believe it was 17 points in a row. Excuse me. Just an unbelievable comeback by these guys.
Yeah.
Biggest comeback since the Arkansas Belk Bowl.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we haven't come back a whole lot. Like, we really haven't. Not in the Pry era, and even not at the end of the Justin Fuente era, obviously. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a large comeback. We had some other comebacks in between then. You're just saying
that was the only 2-possession comeback Virginia Tech has had since the Arkansas game.
So, from the full season of 2017 on, because 2016 was the Belk Bowl. That was December 2016.
Virginia Tech wins have been very formulaic over the past almost a decade. Like, it's just a game where we just look amazing. Like, it's been the Syracuse game, the Pitt game, the Wake Forest games, like, where Tech just looks dominant. It looked like this game was going to be that. I mean, they were up 10-0.
Yeah.
Sungapula had no time to throw the ball, and Cal did not look interested in running. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. And so I think the roller coaster of this game, absolute insanity.
Yeah.
Like, it crashed so hard after Tech got up 10-0, and it happened so fast. I mean, it was like a 5-minute time span between Tech being up 10-0 and this game being tied 10-10.
Yeah, it really was, because outside of the second quarter, we really played much better than Cal, and they wouldn't have even taken it to overtime if it wasn't for some of the refereeing.
This is the third straight game Virginia Tech has close to dominated 3 of the 4 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
Because it was the second quarter against Wake that killed them, the first quarter against Georgia Tech, and now the second quarter here.
I want to talk more about the second half in a second, but first I want to tell you guys that Two Deep Hokies Under the Influence is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. The #1 cocktail in the world is now available in a can mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. You can also get Jack and Cherry and Jack and Vanilla, and now you can get all 3, the original, vanilla, and cherry, all in one mix pack. They are great. We had one this past weekend. We had them in the stadium, maybe illegally, but it was in there. We were having fun. I think Pat was pretending it was a cell phone and calling the National
totally
Guard
believable
to help Cal out, similar to what was it, Shannon Sharp back in the day. But yeah, Jack and Coke, they're great. Nostalgic drink. I did have one in Tots at one point because I made a few trips to Tots. I don't think Sam ever got there, but I got there a couple times.
I had to go back and let out my dog, and I also had to go back and go to bed because I was tired.
Sam's a grown-up, and I am not. That's really what it comes down to. But 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke, ready to drink. When you're having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. My story of the game was just that we finally ran the damn ball, as our caller said, and the resilience that we showed by overcoming so much ridiculous adversity in that game, whether it was the kick off the upright, the roughing the passer, the stepping out of bounds at the 1, the blocked punt. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so a lot of teams that are struggling, that are 2-5 in that game, and they have all those crappy things happen to them, they give up. And Monty, in a short period of time, has gotten these guys to buy in and just go out and play the next play.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of credit to this coaching staff and the leadership on this team that they kind of picked themselves up off the mat here. And they did it against Georgia Tech. They did it in this one. And those are 2 pretty good teams. Like we talked about, this Cal team had a lot of deficiencies, but they also had a lot of strengths. And this was an offense that we knew Sangapulatelli could make some throws, and they had some guys on offense like DeJesus. And we knew defensively they were a very good pass defense and could create turnovers. And it did feel like it took a little bit for Virginia Tech to feel out, all right, here's what's working. But once it started, Tech looked bigger, faster, stronger in this game. And I feel like that's one of the first times that we've seen, not only off the bus did Virginia Tech look like that, but on the field, Virginia Tech looked like that. We haven't seen that in a very long time. So it was almost cathartic for this football program to have a game where they just bullied the other team.
Yeah, because you're talking about 357 rush yards in this thing. 58 rush attempts was the official number from the Hokie Sports box score. And it was one of the best coming out of halftime games I can remember us having in such a long time. And we've been significantly better coming out of halftime under Monty in general. Like even NC State, we've looked better coming out of halftime.
Virginia Tech had every single drive in the second half went for 39 or more yards.
Well, here's what's crazy. We had those 357 yards rushing. Only 100 were before the half. And that was on 19 attempts. So 257 and 2/3 of our rush attempts came in the second half and overtime. There was 30 rush attempts in the second half plus 1 kneel down. And I think they went for like 230 or something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, Virginia Tech averaged 8 yards per play.
Yeah, man.
And was running the ball pretty much every play.
167 for Hawkins, 137 for Drones, a 6.2 yards per carry as a team. On our last 5 drives, I think in regulation, we threw 2 passes. One was for a TD and one was for an interception.
Well, we had the one to Isaiah Spencer that should have been for a TD as well. I believe it was the same play. I'll have to go back and look.
Was that one of our last 5 drives, though?
It might have been the.
I think it was the one before.
Yeah, but it was like, I think Virginia Tech found one pass play that worked to Isaiah Spencer, and then they got the same look and ran it again, this time to Takai Heath.
Yeah. As far as the box score went, we only had 1 pass in the 4th quarter, and that was the interception. And after that, we did not throw again in regulation.
Didn't need to.
I mean, we really didn't, dude. Like, we just kept pounding it right down their throat. But I just think it's hilarious. Like, I remember the interception and being like super deflated. And then the coaches were like, no, we're not doing that no more.
Oh, man.
And then we talked a little bit about Drones on Monday. He was only 9 of 18 passing. We talked about how much they turned to the run in the second half. He still had 5 total TDs, including the critical last throw in overtime, which was a great adjustment by Takai Heath. But nevertheless, 5 total touchdowns. A third of his completions went for touchdowns.
We'll take that.
He only had 9 completions. He had the 10th best QBR on the weekend in college football. Best game of this season for him, in my opinion, like taking Wofford out because they were not a real defense or real team. This was his best performance of the weekend. And just a ton of production from Kyron in the way we want him to have that production, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff that after the Tulane game in 2023, we thought we'd see more of. Now, you can't run him for this much every single game because he will break down. But it's nice every once in a while for him to go over 100 because he can do it when he wants to. He can do it with ease.
Yeah, and I feel like he ran the ball a lot, but did you feel like he took any hits in this game?
He
like
delivered some.
He delivered some, or he just kind of did the like falling forward, lower your shoulder, and you don't really take a big hit there. Like I feel like his legs are probably a little sore, but
yeah.
I didn't come out of this game, but it wasn't like a Haynes King at Georgia Tech game, like
no,
this very much looked like a comfortable 137 yards for Kyron Drones.
When you watch Haynes King play a full football game where he gets 20, 25 carries, like
you're worried.
You feel like he's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Kyron could have gone another overtime if he had to. Takai Heath was the leader in targets by far with 64 yards, those 2 touchdowns. And Aiden Green had the nice TD catch at the beginning. On defense, you talked a little bit about the matchup problems that we were having throughout the game. And De Jesus was a big part of that.
Yeah, I think there was something that Cal was doing against Virginia Tech in the first half, and I'll have to look deeper into it. I haven't had time to do like a full film analysis, but there were instances where Tech was getting really, really out of position pre-snap, and it was just giving the play away. There was a couple big completions that Sangapulatele had in the first half, and that led to that kind of avalanche of offense for Cal. It was really the only time in the game that they had a lot of offensive success. They only had one real good drive in the second half. They corrected it at halftime, I think, against Louisville and against a coach in Jeff Brom who is very, very good at finding those little niche weaknesses in a team. That has to be fixed in one drive. We can't go 2 or 3 drives because they're going to crush you with it. And so that was something from the game that I did not like because it happened over and over again. And it was very, very obvious, the issues. Like Cal would have 3 wide receivers to the right and we would only have 2 guys covering them.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was close to him. It was pretty blatantly bad.
That being said, the defense played well overall. I mean, the line was really good. We only allowed 325 total yards, just 4.9 yards per play. Sagapulatele had 286, just 1 touchdown, a 56 QBR. Like he was picking us apart at times, but really it was a pretty average performance. We sacked him 3 times. We had 6 total hurries, which was more hurries than we had on Wofford. It's the most hurries we've had in a game this season. 6 is a lot. And then you add in the sacks, that's 9 like really good QB pressures.
Virginia Tech was running a lot of 3-3-5 stuff in this game and with a stand up on the edge kind of thing. And then also towards the end of the game, Kamari Copeland was just dominating them so much.
Yeah.
They had Kamari Copeland playing edge rusher, and he was demanding a double team every single time. So that made it very difficult for Cal to run the ball as well. And their center got the yips because he just kept getting beat time and time again. Sanga Pulitelli felt like he was under pressure every single drop back. The defensive line really came to play today. It wasn't a vintage lunch pail defense performance by any means, but you saw a lot more of the playmaking from this team like we saw in the game against South Carolina and like we saw against NC State. Virginia Tech had a 16% havoc rate in this game. That would put them for the season like top 6, top 7 in the country. That was a really, really good game in terms of generating big plays on the defensive side of the ball. All of that without forcing a turnover.
Yeah. And we held them to 39 rushing yards after you take out the sack numbers, which
I think if you put in the sacks, they had like 0 rushing yards.
No. I'm saying that was after. So like 39 is after. Like they had like 70 something. And so after the sacks, it was 39 rushing yards, which is absurdly low either way.
Yeah.
Raphael got loose a little bit. Like he's a good player, but Copeland, Gilliam, and Heisman was the high man on PFF, like higher than the other two. But Gilliam had 4 of our hurries and 4 tackles and like was just motoring around the field. Like he was relentless. Copeland was relentless. And then Heisman. So if you're telling me, Sam, if we could run Copeland on the edge more, have Heisman and Gilliam and Ben Bell, like that's pretty fearsome.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of this too, for context, Cal's average starting field position was their own 47. They were starting drives at midfield. Virginia Tech had a horrible special teams game. Absolutely horrible. Every single unit was terrible. And so
every single unit, like
every single unit made massive mistakes in this game. And for Virginia Tech's defense only to allow 27 points in regulation and Cal averaging the starting field position of midfield, pretty darn good job.
Yeah. A couple other guys I want to shout out on defense because Copeland had this 3 sacks. He also had 7 tackles, which is a lot for a defensive lineman. 3 PBU for Thomas Williams, who we weren't even sure was going to play. They were kind of, I want to say they were picking on him a little bit, Thomas Williams. And he ended up getting his hands in there. He made 5 tackles as well, playing hurt.
They were. I think they found a matchup there that they liked. Cal's wide receivers weren't very good. They have a very good tight end. I forget his name.
Oh, he was really good.
He's very good. So they have some playmakers. Jacob DeJesus, he's a transfer from UNLV. The kid is an absolute like firecracker of a football player. He's so fun to watch. They do a great job getting him the ball. But I thought, Virginia Tech limited explosive plays in this game. Like they made Cal drive down the field. Cal had 7 explosive plays in this game, which is pretty mediocre. But if you compare that to Virginia Tech had 9 of them, right? That was pretty big. And how many times over the past few years has it looked like a team just does a simple 32 dive up the middle and it goes for 70 yards and a touchdown? 0 explosive plays running the ball for Cal in this game. So
yeah, that's great.
The defensive front 7 for Virginia Tech, I thought had a good game.
Caleb Spencer, 9 tackles in a TFL. I mean,
Caleb Spencer
doing
is
it.
Pretty clearly the best linebacker on this team.
Pretty clearly.
Like it's pretty obvious. I think the other guys don't look good at all right now. And like Isaiah Brown Murray had a really good game.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
I mean, thank God we had Thomas out there, Thomas Williams and IBM, because they're really the only corners that we can rely on at all. So anyway, good game by the defense. Afterwards, Monty was super emotional. You could see him kind of like swelling with pride on the field in the post-game interview. And he's just endeared himself to Hokie Nation in the last several weeks. And he's 2-1 now in 1-score games. Already won more 1-score games than Brent Pry did in 3.5 years.
He's 3-2. He's 3-2.
As a coach, 3-2 like overall. And he should be 4-1. The Wake game got away from us, man.
He should be 4-1. And I mean, I think Tech played valiantly against Georgia Tech. I mean, they held their own. Georgia Tech's a better football team. So, I
It's
mean,
just if you had
could you
started
have
the
asked for
season,
more?
dude, if we had started the season full boat of guys with Monty game 1, my 8-4 record prediction probably would have come true.
Probably.
I mean, that's
Ifs and buts for candies and
I
nuts,
know,
Pete.
I know. And you know what? Then we wouldn't have had the improbable victory we had on Friday to enjoy, right?
Yeah, I think part of the result, like at NC State and the result here against Cal, was like the team really believed that they would win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think in prior years, Tech finds ways to lose those games. I think Tech they thought they were going to win this, even when they were down. The energy they came out at halftime with, the way that they stuck to what was working time and time again, the way that in overtime the offense was clinical. I have to go to the drives in overtime, which started at the 25,
and we even had a penalty on the one drive, and then just came right back and scored anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the Cal scored on their first play of overtime.
Yeah,
skinny post wide open against a cover 2.
That was the tight end, right?
Yep, not good. Not a good start. But then Virginia Tech gets it. 8-yard run by Hawkins, 17-yard run by Drones. Do you Billy Ray was next to me after that, and immediately he went, go for 2. Go for 2. Usually I would agree with that. However, with how Virginia Tech's offense was running, I think you keep that game going because Cal was not interested in stopping Virginia Tech.
It didn't seem that way. Although we weren't stopping them so well at the end of regulation either.
No.
Although they got call, and we haven't focused so much on the roughing the passer call in this episode because we talked about it a lot on Monday, but it was an awful call. One of the worst calls we've ever seen. It single-handedly kept them in the game because that was third down. They would have had to go for it or kick a field goal, and we probably would have been able to ice the game down after that. So it was a gigantic call, and it was horseshit. And so we don't really have to debate on this is what they saw. It was the worst call maybe I've ever seen in a Tech game in the history of all Tech games, and that's counting the Danny Cole catch.
I mean, it was a bad call. And then the justification the ACC had for it is a rule that doesn't actually exist in college football. So what can you do?
That's nice.
What can you do, man? What can you do?
But we outgained them by a ton. We only had the one turnover, 50% on third down. The rush advantage was insane. Still came to double overtime. But you know what? They got it done. And the experience with the weather and the atmosphere, and despite people leaving early, that stadium was still pretty electric. It was still pretty electric despite it being 1/3 full. And we had the shirtless guys going crazy and cheering with all you guys was just, it was
a blast. It was
Billy
an
just beating the
blast.
crap out of Robert Irby throughout the second half.
I had no voice. I had no voice at the end of the game. I actually screaming on the fourth down that Cal had I think with 10 seconds left in that play clock, voice gone, done, nothing coming out of here. And I didn't have that again until probably Saturday evening, Sunday morning.
And now it sounds just as good as ever.
I did my part.
I did my part. One more shout out to listeners, Chris and Paul, and all the other people that I saw this weekend. There was a guy who stopped me in the stands, and he said something to me that it was a take. I felt like it was about James Franklin. He was like, "Hey Pete, you don't know who I am, but I listen to the show. Something James Franklin or something." I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was about something I was on an island about. Whoever you were, send me a DM because I'm blanking.
In general, if you run into us at a game, at an event, anything, I will do my best to remember your name and face. I will probably remember your face. Immediately, just send me a DM. Yeah. Send the Too Deep account, whatever. Hey, my name is Sada. I met you here because first off, I am in no shape in the fourth quarter of a game at Lane Stadium to meet new friends.
It's hard. Yeah.
I will cheer with you. I will hug you after a touchdown. I
But
will
this
not
guy
remember
was
your
cool. He
name.
was fully aware. He was like, "You don't know who I am," and there
He
was an
fully-
understood of like, "You might not remember this, but I want to tell you something." And yeah, I think I told you like at the beginning I hinted like, well, maybe probably had 15 beers. It might have been closer to 20 beers on
we
Friday.
had something called like a hard Mountain Dew before.
Oh
we
yeah,
walked
yeah.
into the
Chris gave
stadium
us a
the
hard
other night.
Mountain Dew. I saw the Berlins. I shouted them out on Monday, but they are awesome
Yes,
people, and I
great
know they
people.
listen. So
Elite.
they had like
They had the starter
vintage
jackets,
starter
right?
jackets
Oh
on.
my gosh, amazing!
I
Absolutely
didn't wear mine.
amazing.
Like I'm like 1-1 in the jacket, and I can't wear it to every game. This one I kind of went a little bit more low key, although it'll make it another appearance. But yeah, the Berlins were awesome. After the game, I went to Tots, and it was as packed and as crazy as I've ever seen it. Me and Robert had like one beer on the back patio because like the only people who could stay inside were like 6'5" Billy and Pat, who could like be above the crowd. Like I'm just like I'm getting lost in there. Like I had to go outside. So me and Rob, we go have a beer. And I was like, dude, I gotta go home. I gotta get in the car early tomorrow. I'm going to Jimmy John's and I'm going home. And he was like, I could go for some Jimmy John's.
I went back to my hotel, let my dog out, took an awesome shower, like a 10 out of 10 shower. And I watched Montana Sacramento State, and it was awesome.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
The Grizz 8-0, looking good.
And I laid down and like my heart was just racing. Like it's just like
it
wasn't
was
doing well.
It's an indescribable feeling when you exit that stadium with the W. It really is. And I don't want to ever take it for granted. I really don't. We haven't had a lot of them, but it's one of the coolest feelings I've experienced in my life is when you walk out of that stadium with a big win. Like it did feel like the 6 overtime win against UNC. And ironically, they did it in the very same way with, hey, what if we just run the Quincy Patterson offense? What if we just run the ball with our giant quarterback and see what happens? And that's
what
words. Sometimes.
That's what we've all been calling for, right? Like I know Dwight Vick on Twitter is like, I've been telling him, run the ball. It's like, Dwight, you are correct, and we've all been on that thing. The guys who are like following this and doing the shows, like we all want them to run more. We want them to run the Peyton Thorne offense, and it looked like over the bye week, as we kind of talked about, they got together, they figured it out, and then maybe even more so at halftime. But like, all right, this ain't working. No more throws. Let's just run these two backs because they are awesome. All right, we're going to move on to Louisville in just 1 minute. I just want to tell you that Two Deep is also brought to you by Roback. I've got the new Q-Zip on. One of my favorite features about this thing, Sam, is the dog logo. This thing is like a real patch.
The Ridgeback? Yeah, it's nice.
Dude, it's not like silk screened on there. It's like embroidered. Like it's nice. But yeah, I got the Q-Zip. Sam's got like this same thing, but it's a hoodie and it's got the VT in the middle. But this thing, it's maroon on the inside. It's white. I've said I'm being very careful with my beer. But you guys can use code 2DeepVT to get 20% off your Roback order. You can grab this. They have a couple other nice Q-Zips. A lot of hoodies now. Black, white. They have the maroon. I don't know if they have an orange one, but they have pretty much every color, all different styles. They have the crew necks that just with the script Hokies. A lot of cool stuff. So go to Roback, use code 2DeepVT. Also use code 2DeepVT at compasscoffee.com. Great coffee company in the DC area. They will ship coffee right to your house. Use that email. Use another email. Get 20% off and ship yourself some coffee for the holidays. Are you drinking something?
Oh, yeah. I'm
drinking something. What do you have?
After today, I definitely need something. By the way, like Pete and I both, very long days of work and life, and you are getting every drop that is left in the tank from us too, because we love you. Just know that you're getting everything we got tonight. I had this on the show a couple weeks ago, the Pumpkin Ale from Lone Pine Brewing in the great city of Portland, Maine. Really cool, nice can. Lone Pine, one of the higher rated Portland breweries, which says a lot. It's a beautiful, beautiful pumpkin ale. One of my favorites I've ever had.
Wow.
Beautiful amber, tastes delicious.
Hokie House glass?
In the Hokie House glass. Yes, one at Trivia.
I got to get one of those, man.
Yeah, so cheers to this, man. It's a delicious pumpkin beer. It smells like a Yankee Candle. Like it's incredible.
I am having something equally delicious. This is the caramel pumpkin, caramel pumpkin, however you prefer to say it. This came out last year. In fact, I believe I saved it from last year and have kept it in the fridge all year long. This is not new, but you can keep these stouts for a while. Well, it's not a stout, but it's a high percentage that will keep, and it's delicious. I might even be better a year later than when I first got it. It's 8.6%. Everyone knows the original pumpkin. It's a lot of people's favorite pumpkin beer. It was one of the, I don't know if it's one of the originals, but it's been around a very long time. They started doing some other flavors, and the caramel is good. And since we're like 2 or 3 days from Halloween, you can see the jack-o'-lantern right on there. It's great. I don't know if I like it more than the original. Like sometimes you get too much caramel flavor in something. It can be a little overwhelming, but like I had dinner a little bit ago, and this is I'm treating it as a dessert beer. I'm going to give it I'll give it a 3.75. I'm not going to go 4, but it's good. And I have it in the White Elephant Brewing Company glass.
Nice. I forget what I got this on the last one. It's a 4 or 4.25 even. Like it's one of the better pumpkins I've ever had.
Lone Pine pumpkin.
I'm going to give it a 4.25. It's the best pumpkin I've ever had. Boom.
4.25?
4.25. Best pumpkin beer I've ever had. Sharpie.
What is it? Lone Pine? Does it have a name? Like does it just say pumpkin ale?
Pumpkin Party.
Pumpkin Party. Oh.
Yeah, it's a pumpkin party. It's only 4.2%, but it does have the more pumpkin spice flavor to it, and it is darker. So it's this cool juxtaposition of it's not a difficult drink. Like it's a really easy drink, and it does come in the tall boy as well.
That's nice. Yeah.
But you get the flavor that comes along with it. So it's best of both worlds. You could have 2 or 3 of these and not hate yourself. So
the caramel
pumpkin. It's for a pumpkin party.
It's for a pumpkin party. You can party with it, which is nice.
You at a tailgate table in your cul-de-sac on Halloween night, having a few of these, you're gonna have a good time.
It's going down, man. We usually do Halloween with the neighbors. Like we sit out front, we combine all of our candy, and then give it out to the kiddos. This is a good flight beer. Like this is a perfect flight beer. It's a good sampler beer. You can do one. You're not gonna do more than one. Like
I need to put my flight that I had from Three Notched on Saturday afternoon. I need to put that up on the YouTube page.
The jack-o'-lantern reminded me too, like I've got some big pumpkins on my front porch. And so I am thinking about doing the tutorial on the pumpkin keg. So I might film that this weekend and try to get it up for people. Because the best time to do it is with your family at Thanksgiving. Like if you go and spend the day at your family's house, bring a pumpkin, get there and be like, all right, we're doing an activity. Carve it out, spigot it, put the beer in, wait 3 hours, drink the beer. Like it's just like a fun thing to do for the day. That's what we've done a bunch with my family. That's where it kind of got started. Let's move to Louisville. 11-1, 3 p.m. on the CW. Louisville is coming in at 28 in the FPI and 24 in the SP Plus. They are 16 in the AP poll. I mentioned on Monday that there are 4 ACC teams in the top 16. There are only 4 ACC teams ranked, but they're all top 16. And all of them are on Virginia Tech's schedule, which is unfortunate. And it's crazy that half of our ACC slate is ranked right now. Mm-hmm. Like this ended up being an oddly tough schedule. And that's with South Carolina not even being good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if South Carolina was good, this would be kind of a brutal schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what UVA looks like when we play them. Florida State is the advanced metrics like Florida State, but they're not winning any football games. So that one's a little weird. But I mean, this is a good Louisville football team.
Yeah, it is. They are coached by Jeff Brown, 25-9 in 2.5 years at Louisville, 15-5 in the ACC, which is pretty impressive in a short period of time. His only loss this year is to UVA in overtime. Most notably, they beat Miami when Miami was number 2 a couple weeks ago on a Friday night. When they play lesser teams, Louisville does have a tendency to play with their food just a bit. I'll point to the UVA game a year ago when they almost screwed that one up.
You can point to last week. I mean,
you point to last week
in a fight with Boston College, who is horrific.
They're so bad. They're booty cheeks. And Louisville there's a Boston College problem at Louisville. Like they have had some weird games with BC, but they won, and they still only have one loss, and they're in contention for the ACC title game. So, what are they doing on offense, Sam? Like what stands out to you about like their playmakers, their quarterback? Like what do you have to talk about first?
Speed. I mean, they got some dudes who can fly. Isaac Brown looks like a track star on the field, but can also play football. He's a very good football player. They have guys who can make something out of nothing, and they have guys who can just run away from you. You can't really coach or scheme around that. So you're going to have to make sure that those plays are few and far between, that you are putting them in situations where you can rush the passer, because Miller Moss has not been great this year. He's been pedestrian. That might be a rough word, but I mean, he looks like a guy who lost his starting job last year.
I called him just a guy.
He is just a guy. I mean, he's an average quarterback. Now, Jeff Brom, historically, really, really good with average quarterbacks. It's kind of how he's made a name for himself.
We thought Brom was going to get the most out of Miller Moss. At least I thought that. I won't put that in your mouth, but I thought that he was going to go there. He was going to do the same thing he did with Plummer and Shuck and kind of raise Miller Moss's game. And the top end of Miller Moss's game was really good at USC. Well, he is completing 65% of his passes, but he's got 10 passing TDs and 5 interceptions. He's not a runner, but has a bunch of like short yardage touchdowns. So it's making his overall touchdown numbers look better. But a 65.4 QBR, not terrible, but not the higher end of like what his recruiting rankings and his pedigree would lead you to believe he was capable of. And so, and then you look at the passer rating, like I think some of that QBR is based on him getting rushing touchdowns, because a 136 passer rating, that's just a guy status. Like that is not that good.
Yeah. And it's the model I'm looking at now has them 56 in expected points added per drop back, has them 63rd in success rate drop back. They haven't been a great team on late downs on 3rd and 4th down. They're 71st in the country in 3rd and 4th down success. They haven't been as explosive as we're used to seeing from a Louisville offense. However, they have ran the ball pretty well.
Yeah. So, I mean, Isaac Brown is a stud.
Like they've replaced a lot of those explosive pass plays with explosive running plays.
Didn't Brown just go for 205 or something? Like what did
Probably.
He have what do you have at BC?
He's good.
I have it written down. Yeah. 205 on 14 carries against BC. Yeah. He has 4 100+ yards games this year out of 7. So 4 of his 7 games, he's gone for over 100. But just to finish the thought on their offense overall, before we talk about a couple of their playmakers, like you said, the EPA stat, which was in the 50s, I think, 38th in yards per play. They were 5th in yards per play a year ago. So this offense is materially worse without Tyler Shuck, which is kind of a funny thing because he had one good season in college, basically.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a team that I would put up there with like, I don't think they're as good of an offense as Vanderbilt is. I don't think they're as good of an offense as Old Dominion is in some ways. However, I think the playmakers they have are up there with anybody Virginia Tech has played.
I agree. Like, because is it Lacey? And
yes, Lacey's very good.
And the other Brown running back is really good too. Like Kewan Brown. Like he has 4 touchdowns. He's a slightly bigger back. But Isaac Brown is 17th in the country in rush yards per game. He's a home run hitter. You talked about the speed. They got Lacey. They got Chris Bell. Chris Bell is really the headliner.
Chris Bell's very, very good.
He's 5th in the country in receiving yards per game. So he's got 98. So he's very close to 100 yards per game on the season, 6 touchdowns, 48 receptions. They go to him a lot, and he's open a lot. And that's funny because when I watch Miller Moss play, I come away every time being like, this guy kind of sucks. Like, if he didn't have these guys, like he would probably look horrible.
Ironically, he peaked in his bowl game against Louisville in the Holiday Bowl. He went for like 320 or something. And then since
6
then, it's kind of
touchdowns.
been a downward spiral for him. We'll talk about one of like my number one key to the game. We'll talk about that maybe towards the end, but it has to do with this Louisville rushing game and Virginia Tech's rushing game as well.
So they have a pretty decent rushing game, although the average yards per rush isn't that high. It's like 43rd in the country.
Yeah.
The offensive line, pretty mid, like 77th tackles for loss allowed, 94th in sacks per game, just 43rd in rush yard. Like, it's not a great line, so that's maybe why Moss has struggled at times, but they're doing enough like for Brown to put up numbers. Like, it's a solid offense, great playmakers. Brown and Bell are amazing, but if you could stop the run, and we'll get to the keys later, like Moss is average. Like, I think we can expose Moss a little bit on the road.
I would agree.
All right. The better side of the ball is their defense. And in fact, it's much better. This reminds me of like the old Charlie Strong defenses for Louisville when they were just had so many NFL draft picks. They are 16th in yards per play on defense, 28th on defense in the SP plus, 13th in passing efficiency allowed. This is a very like completely revamped and much, much better secondary than it was a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're top 10 in expected points added per drop back, quality drive rate, points per quality drive rate, like early down play. Like, they are very good to elite in almost every category. And it's been kind of surprising. We didn't expect them to be at that level. They were a really bad pass defense last year, and they've completely turned that around. They went from one of the worst in power football to one of the best in power football and pass defense. They have ball hawkers on the back end. Like, if that ball is in the air, it's going to be scary. I don't think Tech should throw the ball very much in this game at all, because they also get after the quarterback. They are number 2 in the country in pressure rate.
What's their okay? So pressure rate is just pressure on the quarterback. Like, how does it differ from their havoc rate?
Because havoc will include passes defended and like fumbles.
Right, but like is their havoc rate higher or is their pressure rate higher? Because I didn't like, they don't have like a ton of sacks. Like, they might have like a lot of pressures, but they're 46th in sacks per game. When they get a tackle for loss, it's generally a sack.
They are 22nd in the country in havoc rate.
That's pretty good.
That's 14.4%.
One thing I noticed about their like top tacklers is like they're all juniors and seniors. Like, their top 8 tacklers are juniors and seniors. Their defensive line, they got some of their DTs back coming into the season and portaled a couple of other guys. And this Clev Lubin guy who came over from Coastal, I believe, 5.5 TFL, 5 pass breakups from the defensive line position. He's like a massive defensive end. Not exactly. Whatever. They're probably playing him a little bit of both. 4 sacks for Lubin. Conga has 4 TFL. Wes Bailey has been around forever. He's got 4 hurries and 4.5 tackles for loss, 4 of which were sacks. So it's an okay line, but the linebackers is where they really shine. And that's why, like, TJ Quinn, senior, he's back. He's very, very good. Leader in tacklers, 3 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions from the linebacker position.
Yeah. I mean, they do pretty much everything well. And I think you saw, like, in that Miami game, even when you get a drive going, it's very difficult to finish drives against this defense.
Yeah.
Like, they don't get that. They might give you 1 or 2 plays here or there. Very rarely can you string together 5, 6, 7 good plays in a row. And if Virginia Tech is going to run an offense similar to what they ran against Cal, you kind of have to do that. So I think it's going to be a real test of Monty's ability as a play caller to stick with running the ball, lean on your best players, while also knowing you're probably going to have to find some explosive plays in the pass game eventually, because if these guys tee off on the run, they're a much better tackling team than Cal is.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, because it's not just Quinn, it's Perry, it's Watts, it's Capers. It's a deep group, and they all have interceptions. They all have like pass breakups and tackles for loss, and it's a good crew. And in the back, they're so improved with Hutchinson, and JoJo Evans came over in the portal. He's third in tackles. Mack has 5 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. Like you said, these guys, they get after the ball. Like if you throw it, if Kyron throws it, there's going to be high probabilities of interceptions.
Well, so we're talking about the tackling, and there's something really interesting that I found about this Louisville team that I do want to point out. So one of our factors to the Cal game was Cal defense misses a lot of tackles in the run game. Virginia Tech's runners force missed tackles at a higher rate than anybody in the country. Number one. They are still number one in the country in missed tackle rate as rushers. Number one. Hang the banner.
I want to put up a stat while you keep talking.
Put it up. Boom.
Let me get this thing off the screen.
Just glorious.
Best run success rates in 2025. Virginia Tech is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in the country in best run success rates this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Navy is number 1. So, okay, sure.
And it's pretty much any way you calculate success rate, Virginia Tech is top 5, top 10.
We're above Miami. We're above Utah. Like, we're above Washington, Memphis, Indiana. Like it's pretty awesome to have this type of a success rate. And it means, at least it should mean, run the damn ball.
How do you think Louisville is? All right, Louisville, like we've talked about Louisville, really good defense, a lot of ball hawkers, experienced. What do you think they rank in missed tackles defensively, with number 1 being the best?
I would say top 10.
What if I told you it was 102nd?
I would find that very surprising.
So here's the thing. The first guy for Louisville has a tendency to miss, but they rally to the ball so well, they're only allowing the 4th most yards after contact, even though they are 102nd.
That is
in missed tackle.
That is really weird.
And if you watch their games, I watched a few of their extended games. It sounds really weird, but when you watch it on film, you see it. Like the first guy will slow them down, and then there's just a swarm of 2 or 3 more.
Is it by design that they're kind of like?
I think they play really fast, and some defenses that tend to play really fast, the first guy will kind of lunge and miss a little bit, and then everybody else comes in. I think it's more of a style of player than style of play.
We've done a little of that this year.
Right, and this is why they're such a good defense, because all 11 guys play with their hair on fire.
Yeah.
And that has been the switch from last year to this year. But if you can force a lot of missed tackles, like I don't want to rely on that as a defense, right? If you can scheme a one-on-one matchup on the outside and you break that tackle and you've schemed the play well and you've blocked it well downfield with your wide receivers, something Virginia Tech's wide receivers have been very good at this year, you can end up getting some big runs in this game that maybe Boston College couldn't, or UVA couldn't, or whoever else they've played this year. Miami, I thought struggled to run the ball, and that's why they had to throw so much, and that led to 4 Carson Beck interceptions.
With some of these numbers for their defense, I know they're 28th in SP plus, so it's still a good defense, but like that's the lowest we've seen. They have not faced a murderer's row of a schedule. Like it's been pretty patty cake outside of Miami. I know they played UVA. UVA got very lucky to beat them, and UVA, I think, is a very flawed team that should have lost to a bad UNC team this past weekend. But overall, their record, their schedule has been weak. Now, that being said, it's not a murderer's row. We're not a murderer either.
Yeah. I mean, half of their wins are against Eastern Kentucky, Bowling Green, and Boston College.
Yeah. And they didn't play that well against Boston College.
No. And no, I mean, they beat Boston College 38-24, but that was that game was tied at one point, I believe.
I just wonder if some of these numbers that they've put up are like, I mean, you can say they're fake, but then they go out and they beat Miami, who we both agree is a good football team. So like Louisville's good. Brom's a good coach. I think he's probably like game day, in-game guy, like he's probably the best in the ACC.
I think he's the best at picking on what you're bad at.
Yeah.
Like finding what you're bad at and doing that over and over again and trying to make you stop it. He is elite at that.
And if you give him a bye week like he had before Miami, he'll get you, man. Because if you remember that Miami game, the reason Louisville won that game was because the first two drives, the first quarter of drives, and they were up 14-0, right? And he got them. Like he won that game in the bye week. And there's no bye week. You know, they just played BC. And now they got to play us. And both of their lines of scrimmage took a step back from last year. Now they're still good. But there's no Gillette. And I think that offensive line isn't quite as good as it's been the last couple of years. So I think it won't be a super disadvantage in the trenches is what I'm trying to say. Their skill talent on offense, while limited, the guys who are good are very good. And so that's scary to me. Like Bell scares the crap out of me. I think we'll be able to, I want to be able to get to Moss, put pressure on him. And like, I know he's going to make mistakes. Like I know that guy's going to make mistakes.
And also we should point out defensively, they've allowed 3+ touchdowns in each of their last 4 games. Every ACC game they've played this year, they've allowed at least 3 touchdowns. So you feel like Tech shouldn't, like Tech doesn't need to win this game 17-14. You know, there is a little wiggle room for this defense, but we have to see Tech play 4 quarters because if there's a bad quarter in this game, it's curtains.
It's 4 quarters, Sam, but it's also ball control. Like if we're going to run the ball and stick to it, that'll run the clock. And like this is a run out the clock situation. Like that's what this is. In the words of Stanley from The Office, run out the clock, run the damn ball, and sell out on the Browns if you have to. Like sell out on the Browns and force Moss to beat us.
I've been sold out on the Browns for over a decade now. I'm done.
We don't have the Factory of Sadness anymore in Blacksburg after Friday.
We don't have the Factory of Sadness, not the joke on the lake. I will also say for this game, in general football rule, if you are the underdog and or less talented team, you want to shorten the game. You want to shorten the number of plays by as much as possible in order to increase the impact of the variance of each and every play. Right. So if you shorten the game a lot and you get one big play, that one big play means a lot more because there are less plays in the game. You don't want to give the better team more opportunities to show you that they're the better team. So if I'm Monty and I'm Virginia Tech, dude, I'm telling Kyron, hey, we're doing every check with me in the book. We're not snapping this until 10 seconds left. We're running the ball. We're not doing any quick 3 and outs in this game because our defense isn't good enough to survive that. And we're not a good enough offense to be able to score every time out. You like old school, like high school basketball with no shot clock this game. Like do that BS because the best players for Louisville are on offense. And if they're on the sidelines, they're not hurting you.
Yeah. We need a huge game from the 3 big boys again. Copeland, Gilliam, Heisman. Like I want to see that trio out there as much as possible in whatever form that may take. Got to get to Moss. Got to get to him. VT is plus 10.5 heavy underdogs at home after a little bit more fight that we've shown over the last 5 weeks. Monty needs to use that heavy underdog to his advantage in the locker room. And he, based on what we see in the videos, which are amazing, that come out from our media team. They just had the Blair Witch one with the new helmets come out today, which the new helmets that we're going to be wearing on Saturday are sick. Like they are freaking ridiculous. I love them. Orange face mask. Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe white pants, but maroon jerseys, maroon helmet with an orange script, Hokies, and orange face mask. Dude, so tight. But yeah, the one thing that I worry about most, I think, is coming off of what was an emotional Cal game. I mean, we saw it on Monty's face. You know they were celebrating hard in the locker room. So how do you come off of that and play another really tough opponent? The toughest opponent outside of Vanderbilt that's come into this house, and give them a 4-quarter fight.
I think the extra day might really help there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that might really help Virginia Tech in this case. And I'd also point out, take off orange and maroon glasses, right? We sit them down over here. I like Tech plus 10.5 at home. I don't know if Tech wins this game. I think Louisville's a better football team with a better coaching staff right now. But plus 10.5, the way Virginia Tech's playing with the style of football I think Virginia Tech wants to play in this game, I'm taking the points.
We're good enough to play inside the number.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will. Like, but I'm not, I don't like I don't like to pick the lines. I just feel like it's, for me, I just feel like it's bad. It's a jinx, but I am picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah,
I am. Let's get to our picks, man, because I think we did.
Wait. I don't like to pick. Let's get to our picks.
Our picks for the other games, non-Hokies games. Let's see what we got here. Vandy is going to Texas. This is a critical game for both teams. Let me see here. I'm trying to pull up I'm pulling up the pick 'em because we usually go off of this. That game's not even in here. So swing and a miss by me. But Texas is -1.5, -2.5, depending on where you're seeing it. I just think this game's fascinating. Are we going to get the crappy Texas we've seen all year? Or is that defense going to be able to shut out that option attack?
I'm staying away from this game.
Yeah.
I'm staying away.
Because it's essentially like it's probably going to finish at a pick 'em. And I don't know. In the pick 'em, in our actual 2-deep pick 'em, we've got Miami going to SMU. SMU plus 10.5 in Dallas. That seems like too many. I don't know.
It does seem like too many. SMU's offense hasn't been good, and now they have to play the best defense they've played all year. That scares me about this. And Miami, I don't think is going to roll. Like classic Miami does roll over. This Miami, I mean, they hammered Stanford at home, took care of business. Like Carson Beck didn't play most of the fourth quarter.
Stanford's terrible. I mean, that's
Stanford,
they're not in the
is
same
terrible.
class.
How many times have we seen Miami not perform in that game? Like, remember when they lost to Georgia Tech like 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Collins beat them. Like,
this is a road game. Miami doesn't even go outside.
There's going to be like 23,000 financial advisors at that game.
Well,
come on.
I'm just saying, like, they don't go away from home. Like they like
they haven't.
They've played so many games at home already.
I bet they have a really nice plane though.
Lashley, after last week losing to Wake, like this is a classic. Like, you get your butt kicked by a weaker team, and then you come out, and this is Memphis, right? Like this is Memphis losing to UAB and then beating USF.
Yeah, no, that's I can't argue that point. I'm just worried. I don't know how SMU scores in this game.
Jennings has not looked good this year. No. And he's been a little banged up, but I think I'm going SMU as of tonight.
All right.
West Virginia at Houston. This is it's like West Virginia's been so terrible, but Houston's probably at the stage where they're feeling themselves, and it's 15.5.
Houston's not nearly as good as their record, but West Virginia is bad. Like Virginia is there with Wisconsin and UNC. They're not quite as bad as Oklahoma State, but like they're bad. The reason I like West Virginia in this, I don't love them, but the reason I like them at 15.5, it's at noon. Houston just beat Arizona State. Sleepy home game for Houston. They're not really with it right away. Maybe West Virginia scores first. You know, I'm going to go with the Mountaineers. But yeah, they suck. But they're also kind of due for a decent game. 15.5's a lot of points. It is. Like, and you just said, like, Houston's not as good as the record. They're having an amazing season. They're 7-1 for Christ's sake. I mean, 31-17 doesn't win it for you. That's
right.
Are they beating them more than 31-17?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. All right. No, yeah.
Texas Tech at Kansas State. This is awesome.
Juicy.
I mean, Kansas State's on the rise. They were dead in the water. Now they're 4-4. They're plus 6.5 home dogs. I wish we were getting that 7.5. That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah,
what are you doing here? Because this is one of your favorite teams in Texas Tech.
Flip side of the same quesadilla thing again. One side of the quesadilla. I love Texas Tech. They're dominant on the line of scrimmage. I think they had. I think you saw their bad game. Like they already played their bad game against Arizona State. All right. Other side. Teams who are touchdown underdogs at home have performed very well this year. They haven't always won the game, but they have performed very well. Kansas State touchdown underdog. The Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas. Tough place to play. Crowd gets rowdy. Avery Johnson is the kind of quarterback who can make something out of nothing. We bet the numbers, not the teams. Kansas State to cover, Texas Tech to win close.
So you know how on ESPN you get on our Pick'em app, they do like the percentage of people that picked this team and the percentage of people that picked the other team.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the spread. So it's based on the spread, but 84% have picked Texas Tech minus 6.5.
Yeah.
Like that's like the money is on, the people are on Texas Tech. You know what I'm saying?
I will probably bet Kansas State and then look to cash out at some point in the game. And if they don't win, if Kansas State does win, I win that bet. If they lose, I cash Texas Tech over 8 wins.
We did our whole elevation talk on Monday, but Utah 7.5 point favorites at home against Cincinnati.
It's way more now because Cincinnati's running back is out.
Oh,
this is ballooned to like 11, 12 points.
And this is locked in on the pick'em. So it's 7.5. I'm taking the Utes. I know Sam's taking the Utes.
I'm already taking Utes big. Game this is there too.
Well, last one, Georgia. Last one we're going to do for the pick'em, and then I have a question about something. Georgia and Florida, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I think this is the last year they're doing it in Jacksonville.
Is it still in Jacksonville?
I think it's in Jacksonville this year, and next year it's in Mercedes-Benz, unless this is the first year.
Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 7.5. Gators are underdogs. It's a neutral site.
It's a lot of points. 7.5 is a lot of points for this. This is one of those rivalries that's usually a blowout.
Dude, sometimes I don't know. Anything happens in this game, man. Like lately, Georgia's clearly been the better football team, but over a long period of time, it's like this is like Red River in terms of unexpected things happening.
You have Kirby Smart preparing for a game versus who for Florida?
Why is the line so short?
I think it's just because it's the rival. I think it's exactly what you said. It's one of those rivalry games. If I'm picking Georgia. Georgia big. Georgia embarrasses Florida if I had to pick one way or the other. Because I don't see Florida scoring enough in this game.
Well, yeah, that is
Georgia's
going to be a challenge.
Georgia's offense has found some stuff, man.
They have. I think that's one of those ones where, like, if Georgia wins and covers, you're like, I'm an idiot. Why did I take Florida?
Yeah.
All right, that's it for that. The one I wanted to talk about was Oklahoma, Tennessee, because this is an elimination game.
Yes.
Like I'm pretty confident the loser of this is not in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I know like Tennessee hasn't exactly been like on the playoff radar screen for either of us lately. I think at the beginning of the year I had them in there. How are you feeling about that game and how it plays out?
So one hand, Tennessee at home, very good team. One of the true home field advantages in college football.
In Rocky Top.
On the other side, Tennessee's schedule. The best team they've beaten is Arkansas.
Did you see
Kentucky?
the record of the power teams they've played?
They haven't beaten a power team that has more than one conference win.
I think the record of the power teams they played is like 1-17.
Yeah, I mean their wins are Syracuse, East Tennessee, UAB, Mississippi State in overtime by a touchdown, Arkansas by 3, and then they crushed Kentucky. They've lost to Georgia and they've lost to Alabama. I think, like, is this a case of the two teams they lost to are two very, very good national title
And they took
teams?
Georgia to the limit.
Yeah. I mean,
I think they're
leaning
better
Tennessee
than
here,
like that.
because
yeah.
I think Oklahoma is the downward trajectory is real for the Sooners right now.
They just can't seem to score. I question Venable's leadership.
How long can their defense hang on?
Right.
It feels very Cleveland Browns.
Now, that Oklahoma defense could provide Joey Aguilar some serious issues. I was on Oklahoma. Like, I was on South Carolina against Oklahoma. Got that wrong. Then I was on Oklahoma against Ole Miss. Got that wrong. I can't figure out Oklahoma. I haven't been able to do it all year. Like, I don't know how to pick these games. And so I think I got Red River wrong. Like, I'm just not the guy to go to for an Oklahoma pick. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do the Costanza here. Whatever I think I should do, I'm going to do the opposite.
I'm going to go Rocky Top. Dolly Parton's still alive.
Maybe I'll just tail Sam. I don't know.
Nothing but respect for our queen. I am over 18 units positive this season so far.
Oh.
So the drive to 25, we are cruising.
But you are not number 2 in the 2D pick'em.
No, I am not. I am not.
I want to win the 2D pick'em just so everyone could say rigged.
Anyway,
Anyway,
very impressed if we could rig that. Be very impressed with ourselves.
Set up a whole ESPN lookalike website. That's going to do it for the show, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed the James Franklin update as much as we can give, which I think Colby's putting out another one tonight.
Colby was live on Twitter.
Yeah, he was live at 8:30.
Colby's Corner is every night. Is like a nightly show at this point.
We love Colby, friend of the show. But make sure you hit us on Twitter with any questions you may have. It's at 2DeepVT. We're always posting everything there. On Instagram, we are getting a lot of new followers. We're over 2,000 followers on Instagram now. We had like 300 not that long ago. So that's been nice. The shirts, I will drop the link in the description of this video as well as on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you want a shirt, easy to find there or on our Instagram or our X account. Make sure you subscribe to the Sons of Saturday YouTube channel, as well as liking this video, and on the 2 Deep Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe, rate, review, and we appreciate all that good stuff. Do we want to do a word tonight?
Yeah, the word is spooky, scary skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Halloween's here, man. Friday night Halloween. That's pretty great. That was like the best when you were a kid, man. You could stay up late, eat all that candy. So,
yeah.
Were you a sorter? Would you sort your candy?
No, I've never been. I was never a big like candy kid, but
that kind of tracks.
But I enjoyed it. I did love it. I did have this conversation with some friends that the best age for Halloween is like 12 and 13 years old, because you're old enough that the parents can kind of be on the periphery and you can go around the neighborhood, but you're young enough where the idea of Halloween is still very like magical and you still trick or treat. So, but yeah, I'll still have fun.
If you stick it out to 13, you're probably a little too old, but like 11, you are in that sweet spot.
Maybe 11 and 12 is the better one.
Yeah.
I kind of forget what it was like.
Do you still remember the houses in your neighborhood that like gave out the big candy bars?
Yes, I do. And then we also, when I was around that age, there was a house in our neighborhood that put on like an intense haunted house.
Oh, I
like
love
really intense. And that was amazing. I loved it.
My neighbor across the street, Joe, puts out a faux graveyard on his front lawn every year. And I can see it, and he lights it up green, and I can see it from my bedroom window. So every night for a month, I'm like looking at a graveyard as I'm going to bed. It's kind of great. Like I kind of look forward to it now every year.
Yeah,
like,
quiet neighbors.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome, but yeah, a lot of kiddos in this neighborhood, so it'll be fun to see the costumes and drink some beer out on the front stoop and have some fun. So stay safe on Halloween, and until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.